Htio bi predstaviti sljedećeg našeg prezentera. On nam dolazi iz Salt Lake City, Utah, United States, Mr. Bobby Hiller. Nice to have you here today.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Great. Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Let's start.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, hi everyone. A little change of pace. I will be speaking in English if you can't tell. I'm excited to be out here. I've been doing a small tour across Europe, kind of showcasing Metastock, the platform I'm going to be showing you guys today, and meeting with a bunch of our partners, which this guy right here is a great host, I must say. He's treated me to a good time out here. Yeah, so I don't have a lot of time today, but I do want to try to share a lot with you guys and just kind of show you some of my favorite tools inside of the Metastock platform here. I am going to work on holding this mic and using a mouse at the same time. We'll see how that goes. Quick disclaimer, I'm not here to give you financial advice. I'm really just here to kind of show you the software, how it works, how you might read the platform. All right, if you haven't heard about Metastock, I'm going to go left-handed here, actually. Oh. So Metastock's been around for a really long time. We were founded back in 1982, so we've been in business for over 40 years, and we really helped to pioneer a lot of technical analysis software. We were purchased by Reuters back in 1995, and we released our first real-time data feed based on their technology in 2005. We released a copy of our Metastock Zenith, which I'll be showing you a little of today, in 2012. And then in 2013, we did actually divest from them. So we're no longer owned by Reuters, so we have a lot less red tape now. We're able to move a little bit faster, but we're still partnered with them for our data. Now they're known as Refinitiv, or the London Stock Exchange Group has actually bought them out, but we're still partnered with them for all of our data. One thing we like to brag about, so we have won in our price category, the best analysis software for over 31 years in a row, according to the readers of Stocks and Commodities magazine. Really proud about that. All right, so our presentation today, lots of things to cover here. I don't have a lot of time, but I'm going to kind of show you guys how you might be able to do some of this with Metastock. So how do I find securities to trade? When should I get into and out of a trade? What systems should I use? How do you test those systems before getting into a trade? And how can I learn more about a company and their fundamentals before I trade? All right, so I want to spend the majority of my time actually inside of Metastock, so I'm not going to be doing a PowerPoint the whole time. So let's go ahead and show you guys that. Oh, and I've gone too far here. All right, so this is just a real basic chart, something you've probably seen in a lot of places here. This is of Apple on the NASDAQ. And what I want to do is just quickly apply an indicator here. So I'm going to just grab this MACD histogram and drop it onto here and show you this, guys, real quick. So again, nothing too fancy here. This is just a basic indicator. You're going to see this in a lot of platforms. And I just wanted to kind of give this example to show in comparison where I think Metastock really starts to shine is once you start to utilize our expert advisor as well as our templates and some of the tools inside of here. So inside of this chart right here, I've taken that MACD histogram and we've put our expert advisor on it. You can see this guy with a top hat here. He is our expert, as we like to call him, and this is with him applied. And so what you can see now with that MACD is instead of having to decipher the indicator and try to determine when do I have a crossover to signal like a buy or sell signal, this expert advisor is actually going to highlight it on my chart. It's going to let me know when I do have these buy signals and sell signals based off this trading system. It's also giving me a ribbon here, a bullish and bearish ribbon. I'm not sure what I dropped. And so this can really kind of save you a lot of time and provide you with clarity, because it's kind of hard to see here. If you guys aren't familiar with the MACD, it's the moving average convergence divergence. And normally when you have a crossover of the MACD and its signal line, that'll generate these signals. And here, it's hard to decipher, but it's clear as day down here once I have this signal here. And this is one of the many benefits of Metastock, is taking basic indicators or very complex ones and simplifying them for your charting analysis. So I'm actually going to come here and show you another favorite tool, which is the commentary that we have. So if I turn this on, and I can also like dock this onto the side or put it wherever I want. And again, this is a basic indicator, but this is just an example. You'll get this commentary with a lot of the systems in Metastock, and we have hundreds of them built into the software. But this is letting me know that the MACD is currently bullish since it's trading above its signal line. It lets me know that it just barely crossed over it today in this example, and it lets me know kind of the price movement, whether it's overbought and oversold, and things of that nature. So this is one of the great tools in Metastock, but we haven't really answered many of the questions I told you guys we were going to cover today. So now we'll transition into some of my other favorite tools in the software here, and the next one being the Explorer. So maybe you're like, okay, great. I can apply this expert advisor. I can easily see when I have a buy or sell signal up on my chart, but I don't want to look at 500 charts a day or 5,000 charts a day, et cetera. How can I find something that's giving me a buy or sell signal today? And we will go inside of our Power Console here, and I'm going to go into the Metastock Explorer. And you can see here I have the MACD expert selected. And down here for symbols, if I scroll up to the top, you can see we have access to over 300,000 securities here. I guess I should point with my mouse. And what I'm actually going to do is just select some index constituents and go into the S&P 500, which is down here. I'm going to load 1,250 records of data. That's about 5 years worth of data. I really don't need that much data to do a MACD scan, but just for demo purposes, we'll go ahead and do that. And to save us about the 30 seconds or 1 minute of time it would take to run that scan, I'm just going to open up a report. I ran this scan maybe 5 minutes ago. And so after running that scan, here's a list of results. And what we see here, you can see out of the 500, S&P 500 that is, we had 44 results come up with securities that have a buy signal today, which are the ones with a 1 in the column here, or a sell signal, or are overbought or oversold based on the MACD. And again, we're just using the MACD for demonstration purposes, but we do have hundreds of trading systems and indicators built into the software. So now I know, okay, well, here's 44 securities that have some type of indicator based on the trading system I selected. So I've already saved myself a lot of time by not having to sift through all 500 charts in the S&P 500. And now I could simply like double click one of these to open it up in a chart and then kind of go through the list that way. So you can see it's opening up here. And if I zoom in, well, let's close this. Well, that might take a while. Let's actually grab this guy and pull him up. You can see right here today, there's another buy signal, and that was the same example in Apple that we were looking at earlier. So that's going to save me a lot of time being able to just find securities that are actively giving me signals that I want to see now. But there's still the question to ask, well, how do I know if I want to use the MACD as a trading system or some other strategy, et cetera? And once again, we can go into the Metastock Power Tools here, and I'll show you guys a quick way that we can do that. All right, so I'm going into the system tester. And what I've done, we again have hundreds of securities or trading systems to select from, and you can just type in what you want. I have the MACD selected for this. And I could go in, and there's a number of different ways I could utilize this data. So I could select, say, the S&P 500 again, or with the system tester, I can also, let me scroll up just a little. So I can use the last exploration results as well. So that's actually what I'm going to do. And I'm going to say, okay, of those 44 securities that are giving me some sort of indicator today, how can I test these to know how they might have performed? So with the MACD selected, and again, I'm doing the 1,250 records here. I'm going to go into trade options just to show you guys. You can also come in here and you can put in your account size, your risk parameters. If you have a broker that charges you, points or on margin or something like that, you can select that. You can also adjust your entries for when you're planning to get in and out based on the buy, sell, the close, or I have realistic market prices set, basically meaning if I'm looking at a daily chart and I get a buy signal today, at the end of the day, well, realistically, I'm not going to be able to get into that until the opening of the following morning. So that's what realistic prices kind of does for me. So we'll do this one live. So I'm just going to click Start System Test here. And so this is testing the last 5 years using the MACD to see I'm going to buy on a buy signal, sell on a sell signal. It'll also sell based off of overbought or oversold, depending if you're long or short, which you can select whether you want to do only long trades, short trades, or both. And we're going to go ahead and just view this report. So you can see there's a lot of information showing up here. I'm going to go ahead and sort this by net profit. And something else we can see here. All right, so there are more winners than losers here, but there are also a high number of losers. But that's okay. Again, this is just data. This is data that we can kind of do analysis on, kind of figure out, is this a trading system I would want to use here or not? And we can also dive deeper into these as well. So I sorted this by net profit based on a $10,000 account size. How did it perform over the last 5 years? And I can click into these as well. So we'll go into this Carnival group. And now that I've done that, there's additional information for me to analyze here. So I can see the performance was 192%. The annualized performance was about 38%. Well, in comparison, let's say, what if I just bought this security and I held on to it and I didn't trade it over the last 5 years? Well, then you would have lost about 27% in this example here. But I always recommend checking this because some securities might have just skyrocketed in the last year, and a lot of trading systems will do well on securities like that. And you want to make sure that it's actually outperforming just the buy and hold rates, which you can do here. You can also see, okay, how many of these trades were profitable, how many were unprofitable, and kind of do some risk analysis there. Like, are you okay trading a trading system that has more losers than winners? Well, yes, as long as those winners are much bigger than the losers. And so that's just something to keep an eye on. Another thing I like to look at in these reports is the equity curve. So if I come into here, this shows me my account and kind of how it acted over the last 5 years using this trading system. And I can see every single day and analyze kind of what happened right here. So looking at this, this is actually a pretty decent equity curve over time because in these last few years here, it's just been steadily kind of growing. If this is going up and down and up and down, and so sometimes it wins really big, but sometimes it loses really big, it's maybe something I wouldn't really want to consider trading, but that's one way to kind of do some additional analysis here with the equity over time curve. And let's go ahead and close that out. And then there's other things you can do here. So also, now we know, okay, some of those securities, they traded really well on the MACD, and I could save those in like a custom list, and now I'm only going to run scans on the set of securities that performed well with the MACD. Or maybe I don't really want to use the MACD, or I'm interested in learning how other trading systems would have performed. You can easily come in here and select additional strategies and kind of test them. So I did run another scan earlier. We'll open this one up. And so this did a scan, I believe, on those same 40 results that had a buy or sell today, but I utilized several different trading strategies. So now instead of showing me specific securities here, it's showing me how these different trading systems performed. And of the random ones I kind of selected here, we can see a couple of them outperformed the MACD. And I can again kind of go into these and look at this pattern trading system that's built into Metastock and see how this one performed. And then I can sort it by net profit. And we see this one has significantly more winners in that group than the MACD trading strategy. So maybe this is a system that I'd rather utilize in Metastock on this list of securities versus the MACD. And again, I can go into all these individual securities to learn more about them, or save this into a list to do further analysis on them and kind of see how things go that way. All right, also here, I want to show you guys another tool, one of my other favorites inside of Metastock. So once you've played around with some of this, you've used the exploration to help you run scans and kind of identify securities that might have a buy or sell signal today. You've done your system test so that you know that, hey, this is a strategy that I would at least consider utilizing on this set of securities, et cetera. Well, now maybe you still want to kind of narrow things down between a few securities, or you want to learn more about Apple before you actually go in and take a trade with it. So what you see up here at the top, this is Metastock Zenith, or it's also considered a retail version of Refinitive's Icon platform. And I'm going to go ahead and open up a workspace here. And I have this workspace applied to Apple, which I just typed in up here to kind of pull this up. And you can really kind of customize this as well. I often say this is like the World Wide Web, but for trading when you're inside of the Icon platform here, or Zenith as we call it for our retail version. And you can have a monitor of securities, of maybe a list that you pulled out of Metastock after doing technical analysis because you wanted to dive in further and do some fundamental analysis here. And what I can do is I'm going to just open up this. And this is an overview page of Apple just to show you kind of the amount of data that we have available to you. And I know this might be a little bit overwhelming how much is going on here, but really I just want you guys to know some of the abilities that are in here. And if you think you might benefit from some of these analytics, then I'd want you to go ahead and try out a trial of Metastock or our Zenith platform here to see, if it might benefit you. But just to look this over a little bit, I can see like price performance and charting right here. I can go into estimates or see additional charts here. I can also pull up news. If I bring this back down, I had like a news list here, seeing everything popping up for Apple, but I can customize this and add different highlights and things of that nature as well. And so that's just a real brief overview. I could do several hours inside of Zenith alone or in Metastock alone, but I just wanted to show you guys kind of some of the things that you can do inside of there. And I want to make sure we're caught up and on time for lunch here. So before I step away, we did actually want to give away 1 year's access to Metastock end of day. So the initial charting platform you saw me use.
Slijedi nagradna igra, shvatili ste. Uglavnom, podijelit ćemo jedan Metastock najsretnijem dobitniku. Radit ćemo preko, svi ovi, svako od nas je numeriran. I onda ćemo ići preko random orga i koga izvučemo, taj dobiva godišnju pretplatu na Metastock platformu, end of day podatke, da može malo vježbati. Evo, želim vam puno sreće. Četrdeset jedan. 41, jel je? Opa. Bravo.
Hvala lijepo.
Čestitam.
Hvala.
Evo, možete nas malo sliknuti.
Evo se broj treba isto vidjeti.
I broj sve. Hvala. Uglavnom, Metastock ćete dobiti, kako se zove, postavit ćete nam podatke pa ćemo vas mi kontaktirati i sve i onda ćete se registrirati. Hvala puno i puno sreće u korištenju i u tradingu, naravno.
Yes.
Thank you, Bobby.
Yes, of course.
You finished with the presentation mostly?
Yeah, I could just show this, maybe.
Oh yeah, of course.
Show up.
Just to show. And if someone have any question for Bobby,
Yeah, happy to answer questions as well.
anybody?
Pricing-wise, so just to put it out there, we do have a subscription model that starts at $59 a month for the Metastock end of day, or if you want to have the Zenith platform in real time as well, then that starts at $210 a month. And we are offering a free trial to anyone that wants to try it out, and you can just go to metastock.com/ABCD trading T to get a 1-month free trial.
Thank you, Bobby.
Yep.
Please.
Yeah, just a technical question. Like, how difficult is it for a PC to run the program?
Yeah, so if you have like a somewhat modern computer that you've bought like within the last 5 years or so, I'd say you'd be totally fine. Especially with the Metastock DC, it's a lot less intensive. When it comes to Metastock Real-Time or Zenith, it'll still run on a standard PC, but if you have a better platform, it's gonna load a little bit longer. Sometimes people are utilizing multiple monitors, tons of apps open at the same time, and you might get limited there if you have an older computer, but for the most part, it's not too computer intensive.
Thank you.
I can recommend maybe 32 giga. It's for minimum to have it on.
If you want real time.
Yeah, if you want real
For
time.
end of
because
day, like 8.
yeah, because I'm using Metastock every day in my everyday analysis and trading, so it's better to have more RAM memory, of course. Thank you. Do you have any questions? Nobody?
Perfect. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Bobby.
My pleasure.
Yeah.